My name is Lily Wagner, and this is my summer 2025 co-op placement at Brantford Twin Valley Zoo. Over the month of July, my overall role here at the zoo was a zookeeper's assistant. So every day, each zookeeper is in charge of their own section of the zoo, and they all have many tasks that are crazy to handle in one day. So what I did was a few tasks from each section to help lighten the load a bit for everybody. Being a zookeeper is a hefty job that requires a lot of responsibility, as each and every one of these animals must be taken care of properly every single day. So no matter the circumstances, whether it's rain or shine, winter or summer, the zookeepers must be equipped to service all of these animals every day, make sure they're happy and healthy, and all taken care of. This job did require a lot of labor, but it proved to be all worth it as I got some very unique learning experiences that I will speak about later on in the video. First thing I do every morning is head to the entrance of the zoo where the African pygmy goats are located. I say hi to everybody and then I get started on servicing their enclosure. Within the same enclosure, there are also 2 sheep and a bunch of chickens roaming around. Out of all the enclosures that I service every day, this is the largest one, so it therefore takes me the most amount of time, so I spend about 2 hours here. As I service each animal, there are always 3 things in common that I'll do, so I'll get rid of waste, and then I will clean and refill food and water. These guys here do get their own feed, but they also get hay that they can snack on throughout the day, and maybe even do some acrobatics on the sheep. Many of the animals at the zoo also get salt licks like you're seeing in this video, and these essentially provide a bunch of micronutrients that benefit their whole body. Here's some before and after shots of the other goat huts as I clean them. Don't worry, the goat's okay. And outside here, I'll just rake up excess hay and I'll spot clean any poop piles that I can see around. Here's a shot after I have gotten rid of any excess hay or poop on the ground that I can, and it may not look like a big difference, but it does build up over time, so I've learned that the better you do it one day, the easier it is the next. As I clean and refill the water, chocolate milk here loves to help. Next up, here's the male guinea pigs, and they are separate from the female guinea pigs because there have been incidents of way too many baby guinea pigs. So what I'm going to do here is again throw any of the old hay and food, and I'm going to refill everything. And there's chocolate milk helping again. Oh, he's so helpful. And there's the end result. I have also put down some grass here for the guinea pigs. Usually they'll get produce, but it's not always available. Here's a shot of the chickens, there's the one rooster, and then all the others are hens. I spot clean the chicken coop, which essentially means to clean any soiled parts of an area rather than the whole thing, so I'll get rid of as much poop and excess feathers that I can. Spot clean is similarly done in a lot of other enclosures at the zoo, as it's much easier than just deep cleaning the entire thing every single day. So now these guys are all fed, watered, and happy. I filled up the barrel toy over there as well with some hay for the goats. And yeah, they're all good now, so we're gonna move on. Next thing, I walk up to the barn. So here at the barn, there's a lot of storage. So there's hay stored here, wood chips, shavings, and there's also lots of produce stored here. In the barn, there are also many small enclosures, which is helpful in the winter when a lot of animals come inside, or if any animals have to be under special care, they can stay in the barn. The next animals that I service are the mouflon. Now, at the zoo, a lot of customers mistake the mouflon for goats, but they're actually a type of wild sheep. As you can see, there's lots of hay and poop all over the ground, but here it's actually not as bad as it has gotten some days. So I've already locked out the mouflon over here, but here they are. Hey. Hello. They're very cute, but they can be dangerous if you're in with them, so that's why we locked them out. Yeah. Mouflon can headbutt or charge randomly, so especially for the rams with their large horns, it's much easier to lock them out. As you can see here, the ground is much neater. I have replaced all the hay, food, and the water, and so now the mouflon are ready to safely come back in. Next on the list is these little guys. So in here are pea chicks, which are the baby peacocks, and then there's also baby guinea fowl. When I first started here, these guys were super tiny, probably about the size of a baseball, but they have grown so much, so it has been such a pleasure to see them grow. For these guys, I will clean and refill their food and water, and I will also spot clean as much as I can, although their poops are very, very small. An interesting fact about the peacocks here at the zoo is that some of them are leucistic, which is similar to albinism in the sense that they're completely white, but rather than red eyes, they'll just have their normal eyes. Some of the peacocks here are completely leucistic, and then some of them are pied, which means they have some white spots, but the rest are the normal colors. Next up, I'll move on to the red-footed tortoises. I actually have one of these guys at home, so that makes them extra fun to take care of. Here is a before shot of the tortoise hut. So what I'll do is I'll clean off their food mat, I'll clean and refill their food and water, and I'll also scrub inside the hut here to ensure that there's no leftover food chunks. Many of the animals here at Twin Valley Zoo get fresh produce every single day, but it may not always be available. And this is because all of the produce gets donated by nearby Costco's. So, whatever produce is available depends on what Costco has donated. On top of the produce and pellet that the tortoises get, these redfoots get calcium every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and this helps with their keratin production, which benefits many of their body parts, including their shells, their bones, and their nails. Now that everything's all clean, these redfoots are ready to chow down. Next, we're going to head upstairs, and up here, a couple cages are being occupied by two lone turacos. Turacos are very colorful birds that are native to sub-Saharan Africa, and these two here have each had their individual bad experiences outside with the other turacos, so they're being kept up here inside until they're ready to go back out again. So what I'll do up here is scrub any surfaces covered with old food or poop. This includes the branches, and then I'll also spot clean the ground for poop and old food, and then I will clean and refill their food and water bowls. Here's what the cage will look like after I've cleaned up everything, and there's the fresh food and water. I am very grateful that this Turaco here keeps its distance because this girl here loves to stare me down and it's a little unsettling. Not only that, but she will also help me out by bathing in the fresh water that I just put out. Now, as you can see, everything is clean. Food and water is clean, the ground's clean, and even the bird is clean, so that's a job well done. Up here, there are also some prairie dogs. These guys are currently being leased, but there's no space for them outside just yet, which is why they're upstairs. I'll always start off by giving them some hay to keep them distracted, because otherwise they'll be all over me. This is just an example of some of the animals that are being taken care of behind the scenes at the zoo, and that has been super cool for me to see as a co-op student. For the prairie dogs, I will spot clean any poop or hay that I can get. Their poop is very small, so that can be difficult to get out completely, but we do the best that we can. Everyone here at Twin Valley Zoo also strongly values education for kids, so the zoo has partnered with many schools and kids camps, as you can see here. During my time, I've seen many kids camps go by, and the main goal is to educate them, hopefully get them interested and want to come back to the zoo. So the zookeepers will put on special shows. I even got to join in on a reptile show, which was super cool. Here is my final section of the day. This is Kids Corner. So over here at Kids Corner, there are budgies, there are the female guinea pigs, and there are finches. This here is Guinea Pig Village. This is where all the female guinea pigs currently reside. Usually the guinea pigs will get lots of produce every day, and you may see some dog toys laying around as well filled with hay. This is an example of enrichment. Here at Twin Valley Zoo, the zookeepers hope to provide enrichment for pretty much all the animals. It helps to keep them stimulated, and it even helps to bring out some natural behaviors. For the guinea pigs, I will scoop out every single thing that's on the ground, throw that all in the compost, and grab some new hay, food, and water for them. They are all good to go. Next up in the budgie enclosure, there's a lot to do here. So I will spot clean on the ground, pick up anything that's not supposed to be there. I will take out all the old produce from the previous day. I will also scrub any surfaces that have poop on them. So this includes the little platforms and the branches as well. I'll also try to get all the poop off of there. Now here is the final result of the budgie enclosure. I've spread around some fresh produce for them, made sure all their platforms are clean, they've got fresh food and water. And last but not least, we're on to the finches. Now there are only 2 finches in here. There's a male and a female. And as you can see in this clip, the male is the more brightly colored one, while the female has more pastel hues. And this is for mating reasons. This is pretty common in many different bird species. For the finches, I'll pretty much do the exact same thing that I did for the budgies. So I'll throw out all the old food and produce. I will make sure everything's all cleaned and refilled. I will scrub the poop covered surfaces, which there usually isn't too much because there's just the 2 of them. And with that, our day at the zoo is officially complete. On top of all my daily chores, I was able to participate in some really unique learning experiences. I was able to meet the big cats up close, including the tigers and lions. I got to meet the ring-tailed lemurs up close. I had the privilege of participating in Zookeeper Colin's reptile show for a group of kids. He also showed me around the reptile room in detail. That was a very neat room. And I learned all about goat hoof trimming. Next up, although Haley is always busy running around the zoo, I was lucky enough to pull her for a quick interview with the red foxes. I'm here with my supervisor here, Haley Tucker, who is a zoologist here at Twin Valley Zoo. My first question is, how long has Twin Valley Zoo been in business and who is the current owner?
Yeah, so Twin Valley Zoo, this is our 35th year running, and we might have a fox steal our phone in a second. Kira, come here. So this is our 35th year running, and the zoo was created 35 years ago by Tony and Henny Stallman. Tony unfortunately has passed away. I believe he passed away about 12 years ago now, but Henny is still here. She's still the original creator and owner. She turned 88 this year, so she's no longer out in the zoo as often as she used to be, but she's still here, and her children have helped run the zoo pretty much for her, but she's worked pretty closely with them up until Tony's passing. He was definitely the heart of the zoo, and then after he passed, she relied a lot on her children to help with the general operations, but that's kind of been the family business, I suppose, the whole time. Yeah.
What is the main focus or goal of this business?
Yeah, so the main focus for us is essentially to provide a loving home for all of the animals that are here. We definitely strive in providing good enrichment whenever possible, as well as definitely always meeting all the needs of all the animals, making sure they all are demonstrating behaviors that imply that they're still happy here. And if we see behaviors that indicate they might be stressed, then we definitely adjust sometimes their enrichment, or sometimes just their general maybe enclosure setting if we need to modify things to help them feel a little bit more secure, things along those lines. But definitely, yeah, providing a home and also offering space to animals that haven't been able to be rehabilitated and released into the wild, like our red-tailed hawks. One was in a roadside incident where she lost her eye, so she's no longer a successful hunter. So unfortunately, that means that Carrie. That means that she wasn't able to be reintroduced again into the wild. But we try to replicate her space here, but also allow for her to not have to be under stress trying to find food, even though we still try to provide enrichment that would still replicate her having to put in energy to try to find the food kind of thing, without just kind of presenting it to her with no real work towards it kind of thing. And then also, if there are any other animals that the ministry comes across that aren't able to be rehabilitated and released into the wild, an example could be a red fox perhaps. If they get injured and they can't go back, then we hope to be able to offer homes to those animals. So always something that we have in mind. And then also education is a really big part. We are trying definitely a lot harder to partner with more schools and camps to help with educational programs for them, and then also embracing the wildlife that is around us. So always just keeping in mind our native populations that we kind of coexist with, and trying to make sure that they don't feel deterred so that we can occupy their space. Trying to offer a welcoming home to everybody.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I can really tell that you guys are like all about the animals here, not really money.
No, and yeah, a lot of people do appreciate coming here because it's different than Toronto Zoo in the sense that you can see a lot of things in a shorter period of time. It's not as much of a walk, but you also do get up close and personal with a lot of the animals. But then you do hear people who say like, oh, I didn't get the chance to see the tiger or whatever, and that does suck from a customer perspective, but that's a good thing on our perspective because it means the tiger had somewhere to go if he felt like he was too on display kind of thing. So just trying to make them feel comfortable instead of trying to just have them here for people to come and see. We want to definitely make sure that this is their home too, and they don't feel stressed out in that scenario.
Yeah, totally. And there was like, when I first started here, there were so many more animals behind the scenes that I never would have thought there would be. Yeah, we have not too many compared to sometimes, and then obviously in winter seasons, right, things move a lot. But yeah, we do have our prairie dogs that you wouldn't necessarily see, and hopefully they'll be out on display soon. But that is, definitely an example of one of the animals that we have that you wouldn't definitely know about. So we still are always going to get the same quality of care as all of our other animals, for sure. My next question is, how many employees work here?
So there is about 20 of us. There are 6 full-time zookeepers, there's 2 part-time zookeepers, then there's 1 maintenance man, there's 2 lawn maintenance individuals, and then everyone else is technically part-time in our gift shop. So there's technically seasonal employees, but normally on staff during an open season, that's how many people we would have. And then during a closed season, it's normally just the maintenance man and the zookeepers, just because there's not too much lawn to take care of in the winter, right? So, and then the gift shop's obviously closed.
Cool. And my last question is, what's your favorite part about working here at the zoo?
My favorite part about working here at the zoo, there's definitely many perks. So I think probably one thing that's always been near and dear to my heart is definitely always been enrichment, and trying to use it in different ways that aren't as obvious. Like when I first started here, there was enrichment, but it was very minimal. It was like you would cut up the produce really tiny and then scatter it in different areas as a enclosure, but it kind of stopped there. There wasn't many toys per se, and there wasn't beyond that as far as thinking goes. Like there wasn't out of the box thinking. And then it kind of turned into like we had one ball that we could shove full of hay, and then I introduced that to the zebras, and the zebras engaged with it when normally they react pretty nervous of all new objects. So we saw them engage with that, and then it kind of became, okay, what other objects do we already have? Because we're not limited severely in our finances, but we are only open for a certain amount of months a year, and that's our income. So we started working with the things we had and how we could use those. And then when COVID hit, it became this opportunity for us in the sense that a lot of people wanted to still feel connected with us, but they weren't necessarily able to come out at the time. This was like right at the very beginning when we were still kind of in lockdown. So we started a Amazon wish list essentially of toys. And so we put that out on our social media, and people really liked that idea. And then we offered a day where anyone who gave us Amazon stuff was able to come out for free. So that really helped build our kind of enrichment collection and our toys and whatnot. So that was definitely awesome to see. And then a lot of them end up being dog toys that you don't necessarily think of using for guinea pigs, but
stuff them all with hay and
everything. Exactly. So definitely was cool to use those in different ways. And then thinking even further than that and thinking about, okay, so now we have lions and tigers and they destroy everything, so you can't really give them a dog toy or it'll be destroyed the next day, or maybe it's a issue for consumption, right? They might try to eat it. So then it became, okay, how can we give them objects that they're still going to really like and interact with, but they're not going to break them or consume them or something along those lines. So then we started thinking about, okay, so now we have rabbits, and rabbits tend to spray urine to mark things, and so those logs now smell like the rabbit, so now you can give those logs to lions and tigers, so now they think that they have a rabbit and they'll play around with it and exert some energy. Or we'll shear our alpacas and our sheep and whatnot, we save all the wool, and then we can hide the wool around, or we can put it in like Christmas trees or something like that. Now they have to search through that, and normally when they're doing that they'll kind of toss the tree around, so things like that. Or even melons, you can freeze melons or you can keep them whole but they float, so you can throw them into ponds or bodies of water, and now they got to go in and like fish it out, right? So it just kind of opened up those opportunities. And then this past fall we got a lot of fire hose donated from a fire department, so now our baboons is a really good example. They're quite destructive when they want to be, but fire hose is pretty sturdy for them. So it's been a whole new opportunity to try to use different materials that we haven't always had access to. So yeah, that's definitely probably one of my favorite things about working here. And then also probably my exposure to working with exotic animals and kind of learning behaviors, right? Because not all behaviors you see in captivity are going to be exactly the same as what you would see in the wild, but you can also always use enrichment to encourage those behaviors and whatnot, right? Or just kind of learning how some animals think has been a really cool opportunity, I would say.
Yeah. Well, that's so neat. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. Thank you.
Haley is such a cool person. She's so knowledgeable about all the animals, and she definitely plays a key role here at Twin Valley Zoo, so I'm very lucky to have had her as my supervisor. I also had the privilege of working alongside zookeeper Sherry, zookeeper Arlene, zookeeper Colin, zookeeper Emily, as well as zookeeper Shelby on the left and Stephanie on the right. As zookeepers, all of these people service animals, provide enrichment, monitor behavior, and they have been so amazing to work with. Over my time at the zoo, I had the opportunity of improving on many employability skills that I'm sure I'll use throughout my future. One employability skill that I improved on during my co-op experience was time management. I had the same tasks every day, so it was up to me to manage my time effectively and ensure that everything was completed by the end of the day. As I got better at this, I found I had extra time to take on new tasks, such as sweeping or spending time socializing the goats. I found the better I could manage my time, the more I could learn, which helped me to get the most out of this experience. Another important skill that I developed was adaptability. Most days I followed the same routine, but there was definitely times when things didn't go as planned, such as weather slowing me down, like intense heat or rain, my animals being relocated to different parts of the zoo, or the zoo getting really busy and me helping with overflow parking, which happened one day. I learned how to go with the flow and stay flexible while still getting things done. I found the importance of being open to learning about new things, as I'm sure that plays a factor in all workplaces. The most important skill I found to have at the zoo and that I gained was responsibility. The zookeepers trusted me to care for my animals properly, as it was mostly independent work, so they put a lot of trust in me and I took that very seriously. I made sure that they were fed, they had clean water, and that their enclosures were cleaned and secured. On top of that, I had a responsibility to the zoo visitors to help create a safe and enjoyable experience for them too. All of the zookeepers have lots of experience with this responsibility and are therefore able to carry it very, very well, which I was inspired by, and I hope to be able to handle responsibility just like them in the future. Overall, my co-op experience at Twin Valley Zoo proved to be extremely rewarding. Not only was I able to learn about several species of animals and work alongside them every single day, but I was also welcomed by the team of amazing zookeepers who took their time to accommodate me and mentor me. Though this job did involve some hard labor outside, the unique learning experiences that I got made it all worth it. And I would definitely recommend this placement to any co-op students interested in pursuing animal care in the future.